Good afternoon, Raider Nation, and welcome to the WWSU studios. I'm Shea Neal, and it's time for the AROTC Hour, something new that we're doing here at WWSU, something that we're very, very excited about. And we do have video today, and we're streaming live on the website. So I'll let each cadet introduce themselves one by one. We'll start on mic 2.
All right, my name is Cadet Philip Burch. I'm a senior here at Wright State University. I'm a political science major with a double minor in German and military science. I've been here since I was a freshman. I love Wright State. Wright State's an awesome school. And I will be commissioning as a second lieutenant in the military intelligence branch, active duty Army this spring in May.
Very cool. We'll pass it to Mark 3. Marcus.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cadet Marcus Perry. I am a second semester sophomore here, studying organizational leadership and emergency management. Super excited to be here, and can't wait to let some people know about the program.
And absolutely confident. Like, walked in, just owning the room. You were ready to go. No problems whatsoever.
Sweating bullets, but totally confident.
We'll pass it over to Mike 4.
My name is Michael Dusney, MS3 cadet here. I'm considered a junior in the program. However, I am getting my master's here at Wright State in history, specifically focusing on the War and Society program. I got my undergraduate at Otterbein University. Army's always been something I want to be a part of, and officer's way to go. So I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about it.
Very cool.
Hi, my name is Lauren Cricek. I'm an MS2 here. I'm a nursing major, and I'm actually I moved from the Air Force over to the Army, so I really, really like this program a lot.
Very, very cool. Well, we appreciate all of you for being here today, and we're happy to help any way we can. So I have my little show notes in front of me. Didn't have a ton of time to prepare for today, but that's okay. I think it's always good to start off kind of giving the basic. I hate to use the term for dummies, but I mean we got to start from square one for somebody like me, of course. So let's get started with a little bit of background on just what AROTC is all about here at Wright State, and what are some of the goals and the values of the program.
Right, and that's very valid. I think a lot of people don't have a good perception of what the program is, what we do, what it's about. People come up to us and they'll be like, "Oh, I did AROTC in high school." And, well, we're a little bit different. So Army ROTC is a nationwide organization which is committed to commissioning second lieutenants into the United States Army, whether that be the active duty or the National Guard or Army Reserve components. And so essentially what happens is, you have a cadet who's just going through college, just a regular college student, and decides they want to join the program. Essentially what it is, it's just another class you take alongside your typical course load for whatever major you're doing, and we'll put you through our training, classes, labs. We work out, physical training. That's our PT. We do field exercises with the goal that at the end of your 4 years of college, or we also have a 2-year program, but at the end of your time, when you're getting ready to graduate, you'll sign your contract and commission as a second lieutenant.
That's awesome. And I mean, I know that we have so many students and so many, people involved with the program on campus that have, that are success stories that are, a couple friends of mine, Cadet Austin Beatty, from a couple years ago, was a comm major with him. So great guy.
Right.
But a lot of success stories in the program. How would you, I know it's kind of hard putting you on the spot here, and this is open for anyone to answer, but how would you describe in your words kind of like what, if somebody was interested in joining this program, what some of like the goals of the overall program are, like in terms of why is it different than, just a typical student organization, or why is it different from a different group on campus?
Yeah, I'll touch on it real quick, and then I'll pass it over to Marcus. But, biggest goal of the program is develop leadership. I mean, our mission statement, literally, I'll read this verbatim, is to harness and develop the leadership potential of current and future Wright State University students to commission competent and confident officers to serve in the United States Army. I mean, really what we're doing is doing what we can to harness people's individual skills and make them better leaders, whether that's going to be in the Army world or in the civilian world later on in their careers.
And just to echo that, so what differentiates us from like your typical student org, like let's say the chess club or whatever XYZ club that is here on the campus, is we are training you up to be an officer leader in the Army. So we're not just joining and, coming, hanging out, eating pizza and whatnot, and then, going home at the end of the day. No, we're actually instilling you with responsibility, teaching you time management, even how to manage your finances and things like that. Things you wouldn't think about, physical fitness, respect, having responsibility. These are all things that our cadre, our leadership is instilling in us over the time of our time in the program. I'm sure these guys can speak on it more too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and those qualities are, we experience those through teamwork, right? So, we're working. It's not an individual thing. We work together as a team. We work at the platoon level, work at the squad level. It trickles down, and so that responsibility is given to you in a leadership role, and you experience that through your team. It's not an individual effort.
Yeah, so coming from the Air Force, I never really had that leadership potential, and I never really had that training on how I could lead others. And just being only 2 years in ROTC, I've really learned a lot, and I've come so much farther than what I ever would have thought I would in the Air Force. So
That's awesome. I think that, it just sounds like you mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities on campus to grow in terms of leadership, in terms of teamwork, stuff like that. But it's very unique to get, some of the camaraderie that you end up with and some of the, like you mentioned, personal finance habits, which I'm sure me and the rest of my staff could use a little more assistance in because we just throw money at everything.
Yeah, it's the college kids life.
Yeah. But it sounds like as well that with this program and with some of the with some of the benefits that come with it are a lot of opportunities, and I would love to have one or multiple of you elaborate on some of the opportunities that could be available for a student that's maybe on the fence.
Oh yeah, for sure. So one of the biggest things that we have are scholarship opportunities. That is I think without a doubt one of the biggest concerns. You talk about in today with the rising cost of college, and people are trying to struggle to figure out is that what I really want to do? How am I going to be able to pay for that? And my biggest thing, and I can speak for this from my experience, is I didn't even know if I wanted to go to college. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, and then what it turned out for me was ROTC, Army ROTC here at Wright State, and specifically Wright State, was perfect because Wright State is, I think, in the perfect position and has the perfect, not just demographic, but just this combination of these different factors that make it this perfect school for coming here for not just a degree, but a career for in the Army. And so some of the things we've got 2, 3, and 4 year scholarship opportunities. And for these, very easy to apply for these. It does not take very much time. You sit down with our scholarship director, Mr. Ed Wittig, in our office in Allen Hall. Really easy. Sit down with him, talk about enrolling into the program, applying for these scholarships, and these scholarships are going to give you partial or sometimes even full rides for all of your tuition. We also have $420 cash stipends. So caveat for that is you have to be a contracted member of the program, but that's $420. That is cash money in your bank account every month. That covers my gas, my groceries, stuff like that. I don't even think about that stuff now, which I know a lot of other college students do.
Yeah. And like you said, the program will teach you to not blow through that money once you get it, if you get it. So,
exactly.
Yeah, so that's a plus because I'm sure there's a lot of people that take that money and just go to Thirsty Thursdays and it's gone in 3 weeks.
Exactly. Yeah. And working on saving your money, and it gives you a little extra money. You get the scholarships, and maybe you can go spend that money on stuff that you want to spend on when now you're not sitting here. Well, I actually have to save that for next semester or what have you. So if you want to elaborate on that a little bit more, Marcus.
Yeah. So when we talk about the stipend and whatnot, $420 a month, cash money in your bank account for you to use for whatever you want to use it for. They'll pay for your schooling with the scholarship. And one thing that's greatly benefited me is the housing scholarship. So I came here, paid for school out of pocket. You know, this is only my second semester here, and I'm like, man, this place is expensive. You know, college is expensive worldwide. But when I check my balance, and let's say it says about $2,000 on there that I need to owe, which is for my housing. You know, living in the honors dorm and whatnot. Got to pay money to live there. And then the next day I looked, and the balance had been cut in half. You know, and ROTC had paid that for me. So they give you a peace of mind, because not only are you getting $420 a month that, you, like he says, pays for his gas, his groceries. You know, if he wants to go out and have a good time, wants to buy his girlfriend a gift, hey, anything you want, it can happen with that. But then you're also getting at least half off of your housing, which just gives you so much peace of mind.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to scholarships and whatnot, a lot of people don't know how they're going to pay for college. A lot of people will not go to college because they don't know how they're going to pay for it. I know for me, I went to Sinclair, and I graduated my program there in 2017, and I'm like, look, I've zapped this Pell Grant. I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay for school and whatnot. And then when I heard about scholarship opportunities with our Army ROTC, it kind of like ignited a fire in me. Like, man, now I can go back. Now I can pay for it. I don't have to worry about the money aspect because, you know, they'll take care of it for me.
Well, and I think that's a big thing that a lot of students can relate to, where, I mean, I work, 2 jobs, and as soon as I get a paycheck, I think we get one today, by the way, which is awesome. But as soon,
today too.
there you go. As soon as I get one, though, like, it goes towards rent, it goes towards car repair, it goes towards gas, it goes so like it feels like you're never making money. It feels like you're just kind of floating.
And the price
I'm sure there's
going up, so
right.
Any kind of help, is great.
So I was going to say, I'm sure a lot of students relate to that very, very similarly experiences. So hearing that kind of stuff where half your housing's taken off, and you get $420 a month put in your bank account where it takes care of gas prices, which are just insane right now. But that's a really cool opportunity, and I think it's one that a lot of students should definitely keep an eye on. We're pleased to be joined. Pleased is probably a really weird word, but we are honored to be joined today by the ROTC to explain a little bit more about their program, give us a little bit more programming, which we never will say no to. So this has been a fun experience, and it's just great to hear from different orgs on campus. One of my favorite things about being involved with a Core 9 on campus is just the fact that, you can do something with a different org multiple times a day.
Absolutely.
Throughout the year, where I came into this experience not really knowing what to expect, and I think that you can impact dozens, if not hundreds, of organizations on campus. So we're happy to help however we can. I'm curious. I've always been curious about internships within the ROTC. So I'd love to hear either Michael or Lauren elaborate a little bit more, if you can, about some of the internships that come with the program.
So I don't know too much about the internships. I know there's a nursing. Is there a nursing internship of some kind?
Yeah. I was going to say, excuse me, there's a lot of internships that are available. I mean, when those come down to our sophomores and juniors, particularly the sophomores. Sophomores are good. That's the big class where we really try to get those internships in, because after your junior year, you'll go to advanced camp for the summer at Fort Knox. So internships, we really try to get our sophomores to go between their sophomore and junior year. And I'll go ahead and give an example. Fellow senior of mine, Caleb Matos, had an internship in San Diego. Unfortunately, got canceled because of COVID. But he was able to then get an internship the following summer in Seattle, and was doing medical services work, and that really gave him a lot of extra insight into that aspect of the Army.
Yeah, and one of the other opportunities is the specialty schools. And we've had multiple cadets who are 4s now who have gone to specialty schools, airborne school, air assault school. I myself am going to go to airborne school after advanced camp this summer, so I'll be jumping out of perfectly good airplanes.
Always a fun time.
Yeah, always. Yeah, hopefully I'll get enough from the 3-week training, that way I don't splat somewhere, right?
That would be very unfortunate.
Very. But yeah, so there's specialty schools that you can go to over the summer that cadets have available to them. They are competitive spots, but at those specialty schools, you get those specialty skills, and those specialty skills at some point later on in your Army career can make the difference.
Yeah.
In terms of promotion and things of that nature, and they're you earn those extra badges for your chest, but it's more than just the wings on your chest, right? It's those extra skills, it's those extra leadership skills that you get with that training that will make you a better officer.
Without a doubt. Another thing that I think is just a really underappreciated and not as well known as it should be part of the program is just the different branches that are available and all the different ways or all the different routes you can take. Looking at the sheet I have in front of me, it's more than even I knew about. And not saying I know anything, but it's more than I knew about, and I'm sure it's more than a lot of people know about.
Yeah,
so I'd love to hear more about the different branches.
Right. Yeah, so I'll talk about this for a little bit, but then I definitely want to pass this over to Cricek for talking about the nursing and the nurse corps and stuff. But what I like to say for people, and one thing I did add earlier, I'm our cadet recruiting operations officer for the semester, so I plan our recruiting tables around campus, represent us to try to bring more people into the program and do what we're doing right now is just give people this base knowledge. And what I like to tell people is there's a little bit for everybody here. So, people think of the military, you think of the combat arms. We call it maneuver, fires, and effects. That's, your armor, your aviation, engineers, field artillery, infantry, all of your taskings, which are on the ground, actually doing your operations. Right, but then you also have force sustainment. You've got adjutant general, which is like your human resources equivalent. The Army is the second largest employer in the United States, behind Walmart, actually, interestingly enough. But that's a lot of people. There are millions.
Walmart.
It's a big one out there. But there's millions of people employed by it, not just service members, but civilians that also are involved. Contractors, all the people that have to run all these facilities and stuff. And so, finance, everybody's got to get paid somehow. Somebody's got to do that. So, we have ordnance, logistics, which is your transportation, quartermaster, all these different logistical things. So, a lot of those aspects, a lot of that training that comes from there correlates super easily back into the civilian world. Now more than ever, you see all these international businesses that are just, Amazon, that is just revolved around logistics. Operations support, that's what I'm doing in military intelligence, collection and analyzation of data. And then we get into the health service. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to Cricek to talk a little bit about the nurse corps and the medical service.
So being a nursing student and being an ROTC is pretty awesome because as long as you keep your GPA up and as long as you're contracted, they're willing to help you out. As long as you give them, your time and your effort with your GPA. I know that there's an opportunity of them being able to pay for your NCLEX, which is an expensive test you have to take to be able to be a nurse. And then, what they did with me was, since my GPA was pretty good and I'm going to be contracting here soon, they were able to give me a $3,000 scholarship, and I'm not even contracted yet, so that's pretty awesome. And back to the internships, they're able to have basic nursing officers come here, and we're able to interview them, which is really awesome.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I think that, like I said, just a lot of the hidden secrets of the program are stuff that, students and, the campus community would just love to hear about. And I think that, especially in 2022, it's all about having options. It's all about having, routes, different possibilities. And, I think this is about as many possibilities as you could possibly have. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So nobody wants to get cornered into one specific career, but with a program like AROTC, you can do hundreds of different things. So it's not all. We've obviously so far today talked about, some of the logistics, some of the information, some of the data that you need to know to be a part of this program. But, the AROTC still has fun. Why don't we talk about some of the stuff that y'all do to have some fun?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, once you take all that aside, you can get away from the big picture, which we do after college. We're a student organization.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people or quite realize that Army ROTC is, student run. Everything we do, all of our, all of the labs we hold, our PT, that's all cadet run. Our juniors, Mr. Dusney, his class plans all of the PT. You know, the seniors, we give them a little outline of what we want them to do, and then they take it from there. You know, the seniors, we put together all the labs. We plan all the training, and you know, our cadre are just there to oversee it. You know, make sure we're following the right course, but it's really down to us, and you know, that's what's really cool for me. So, you know, a few different things. I'll talk about this a little bit. You know, we have a Ranger Challenge team, which is essentially you're just getting you know, kind of what I'll say our elite members of the program that excel both in intellect and physical fitness, and they'll do a large amount of training, and then it culminates with the Ranger Challenge event, which this year was held at Fort Knox, and the team will go down there and they'll compete against a bunch of other schools from the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana area. It's really cool, really cool thing they do. Builds a lot of camaraderie for them. We also have a color guard team, which they'll present the colors at like our Wright State University basketball games.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of club teams. So essentially, you know, just like any other organization, you know, for any intramural sports that we have, you know, we can make a team. You got a lot of people here that love to play sports. We actually have Mr. Bayham, who's a fellow senior, put together a intramural basketball team, and you know, they just get out there and they have a lot of fun, and that's what college life is about.
Absolutely.
And then I'll go ahead and hand it over to Marcus. You want to talk about some of the capabilities we have on campus and some of the resources that make Wright State so desirable, in my opinion, compared to some of the other schools in the area.
So here at Wright State, a lot of people, you know, they always have that, oh, Wright State, wrong college, things like that. Not the truth at all. Wright State University is definitely where you can literally change.
I was not ready for you to drop Wright State wrong school on the air. Oh, man.
But we're getting away from that. You know what I mean?
It's Wright State right school now.
There it is.
Exactly.
There it
Right
is.
squared.
Hey, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here. So, but Wright State is such a hidden gem. You know what I mean? For me, someone who came from Sinclair Community College, it was like, man, where am I going to go? Am I going to go to UD? Probably not. And Wright State is literally right up the road, and there's so many opportunities here. So we have a land nav field for people that they can go to, practice their land navigation. We'll go out in big groups. We'll have our whole battalion go out there, and then we'll send, you know, usually 2 individuals at a time, and they'll go out, find points, you know, and you kind of get that satisfaction, like, man, I just took a map and a compass and a protractor and just maneuvered my way through you know, dense, thick woods. Boom. We also have the leader's reaction course, which a lot of schools don't have here. So we go out, we practice our team leadership. We did it last semester, which was really, really cool. You got to go out with your squads, people you don't even know. You know, you just got thrown in with these people. So you get to go out with them, see how their brains tick, see how each individual works together and whatnot, see their strengths, see their weaknesses also. So that was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And then we'll do like paintball. So we just went out to Calamityville, which is a property that is owned by Wright State University.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Mr. Bill Hartcheck for letting us go out there. That was that was awesome of him. So we went out to this huge, I think it's an abandoned cement factory or whatnot.
That's exactly.
That just sounds intimidating.
It was
Right on.
awesome. It was awesome. So we went out there. They had like buses flipped over the side, helicopters. Like, it was great.
Oh, heck yeah.
May or may not have a picture inside the helicopter. But we went out. We practiced our different tactics. We were able to let different individuals, specifically in our sophomore class, our MS2 class, we were able to let them kind of have leadership roles. So myself and Miss Cricek were actually in team leadership together. We got to lead some troops and have
Yeah,
fun.
and I got to practice my ambush skills on you guys.
Yeah, right. Practice his aim too. But you know, like Burch was saying, we have fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's not all army, get dirty, muddy, all that. No,
Absolutely.
that is an aspect of it, but it's not the entire program.
But-
it's not the entire.
And I mean, I'll just throw this out here, but that's life. I mean, every part, every life, I don't care what you do, has that dirty aspect to
Absolutely.
it. But I mean, it's all about, making the most out of it. And it sounds like your program does that. But
Absolutely.
I'm just going to throw this out here. I don't want to step on a paintball or a course with any of you, because I know that's going to end badly for me.
Well, and
why
like
would you
it's all about knowing.
Because you're working on aim, and I'm working on holding it right.
And some of it, some of it's about when knowing when to flip the switch and knowing when to when it's time to focus up and be serious and focus on the tactics at hand, because we're training to be officers, so there's a certain level of maturity that goes along with that, because eventually we're going to be in charge of other
Right.
Parents' children's lives
Right.
at some point, and so that's a very serious
Absolutely.
it's not something to take lightly. So I think everybody here at the program, fours on down to the ones, I mean, we know how to flip the switch, and we know when it's time to have fun, but we also know when to get after it, and when to do our thing.
Get serious
Yeah.
about
Very
it
well
and
said.
actually
Absolutely.
accomplish our goals and whatnot.
Absolutely. Well said. And just going back to Marcus's point about Wright State, I think I think I have a very similar kind of perspective where one of my favorite things about Wright State is the fact that it has so much more diversity and so much more, it feels like a little bit of everything compared to other universities, not just in the area, but in
Right.
most of the Midwest and even around the country. So I think that that's a very unique opportunity for a lot of students to, kind of get involved with things that they might not get that opportunity at other schools.
Absolutely.
And one of my favorite quotes of all time is from Miss Mackenzie Hefferlin down the hall, the editor-in-chief of The Guardian. She does a great job. But she said that Wright State's big enough to make a difference, but it's also small enough where you feel like you make a difference.
True.
And I think that's absolutely perfectly said.
I
That is the
agree.
truth. That is definitely the truth.
So I think that it's important personally, and I think that you'll agree with me on this. We'll get to some of your upcoming events, activities, and stuff at the end of the program, but I think it's always important to know, the faces behind the titles and know the personalities that are part of this program. So I'd love to take a few minutes, have each of you tell me a little bit about why you chose our AROTC, a little bit about you personally, and what this program has meant to you as you continue on in your journey.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start. So I, in high school, didn't know if I wanted to go to college. If I wanted to go to college, I didn't know where. So I enlisted into the Army Reserve at the age of 17 and went off to basic training between my junior and senior year of high school. And so that's how I got started in the Army. And, didn't know anything about ROTC. Finally decided to, I think Wright State was the only college I ended up applying to, maybe NKU as well, but we don't like NKU.
I was going to say, good call.
Yeah, you definitely made the right call there. And I couldn't tell you how I heard about ROTC, but I walked in that office, and the cadre at the time there, I think actually we have all new cadre now, so they rotate in and out pretty frequently, but I just felt that was this was the place. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a leader, and the story just kind of wrote itself from there. I spent all my years here. Fortunately, we had a few hiccups with COVID. Really took away from I consider like some of the key years of my time in college. But it was just such a blessing to come back as a senior, and everything starting to get back on the right track, and just for me to see like these cadets come up and just the drive that they have. This group of 3 that I brought in today, I could not be more proud and pleased leaving this program here in May, knowing that this program is going to be in great hands.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Burch.
Thank you for that. So for me, the military is something that I've kind of bounced around with for a long time now. I can remember in high school, they kind of made us take the ASVAB, and I'm like, all right, what is this? Circle C for everything just to get the
Amen.
test over with. And I'm like, you know what? We'll
I'm
see.
glad your go-to answer was C.
You're bound to
Yeah,
get-
C.
You're bound to get some of them.
See, man, look,
We
man,
don't
great.
know, guess C.
C. And so I didn't really, the military wasn't really something that I was steadfast on.
Mhm.
It's actually steadfast with me becoming a firefighter. So after high school, I went through the fire academy and was fortunate enough to have the honor of becoming a firefighter and an EMT. And I worked in that line of work, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it a lot. But I also wanted more education. I didn't want firefighting to be the only thing that I did or the only thing I knew how to do. And a lot of the guys that I worked with would say that, hey, we cut grass, I do construction, this and that. Don't let your education stop here. So I started thinking about education, and I thought about how to pay for education. And the Army is one way that you can pay for your education, like we've been talking about with scholarships and whatnot. But then also in the Army, I thought to myself, man, I was 20 at the time. I'm like 20-year-old, I'm thinking I've got my things going on, but I'm also lacking discipline. I'm also lacking a certain level of respect, whether it be self-respect or, outward respect towards people. And the Army can also teach me that. They can teach me time management because I was horrible at it. I'd tell somebody, hey,
I still am, so you're beating.
Hey, man. So I'm like, hey, let's go get lunch at 5. 6 o'clock rolls around, I'm still in the bed. Oops. So, I really just wanted that opportunity to grow and learn. So being a part of ROTC has definitely whipped me into shape, quite literally and figuratively. I've been losing weight lately. But it's definitely pushed me, to kind of expand upon, what I had. I had a good basis. And it's kind of led me to join other groups like Student Government and Model UN. It's made me just feel empowered to do that. So I know I rambled a bit.
I hate to put the pressure on you two, but I think those first two were like TED Talk worthy. Like that was outstanding.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the Army for me, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, or not podcast, radio show. Podcast.
It's all good.
We
We do podcasts too.
Hey, like I said at the beginning, I'm a master's student here. This is actually my second semester here at Otterbein. My first, not Otterbein.
Oh, man.
Wright State. This is my second semester here at Wright State. I got my undergraduate at Otterbein. So it's my first year here. The Army for me, it's been a family venture. My grandpa did it. My dad is doing it still, and my uncle did it. And it's ever since I was little, I've always known I've kind of wanted to be in the Army. And actually, before this, when I graduated from Otterbein, I was actually looking at going to OCS, which is Officer Candidate School, which is a different route to become an officer. But I decided to possibly look at getting a master's while I was still kind of in school and in that school mode. And I had a lot of support from my family and my girlfriend about it. And they really kind of pushed me to look for possibly getting a master's. And I knew I wanted to be an officer still, so I was looking around at different schools that were close. And Wright State happened to be one that I found, and I reached out to Mr. Wittig, and I reached out to the program, and they were very helpful in getting me into the system and getting me a part of this this kind of close family that we have here. But yeah, I mean, I've always known I've wanted to be an officer, so for me, this is kind of if there was ever kind of such a thing as destiny, I guess I might be doing it. Not to get too existential, but it's been quite a journey, and I'm excited for what lies ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, I was in the Air Force before, and what I kind of wanted was I wanted more like a leadership role. I wanted to have that confidence to be able to lead people and confidence in myself. And with going through just school and being in Air Force, as an E3, like you don't really get that. And so I knew if I wanted to do some sort of officer route, ROTC was the best option. And actually, I don't know if we mentioned it with Army ROTC with this, you can do like the SMP route. So you can be in the National Guard and be doing ROTC at the same time. So I saw that and I was like, wow, I mean, that sounds like a great opportunity. And I came here and I saw the dynamic and just how the MS4s do. You guys do a really great job. And I knew that this was for me. So that was kind of how my route went.
Awesome. And I think that's something that, is is really important for the campus community and for students and stuff to know. Where, I mean, obviously you can look at the numbers, you can look at the scholarships, you can look at all the benefits that come out of it and think it's a great opportunity. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of people want to hear stories. A lot of people want to hear experiences that cadets like you have been through. And then at the end of the day, maybe somebody goes, you know, I've thought like that before. You know, I've gone through that before. So I think that's really important, and I appreciate all of you for sharing those experiences. So let's end this off here. We, again, really appreciate your time here today. Had a blast. Some of your events coming up, some of the activities that students can do if they want to get started with the program.
Yeah, so, biggest thing is enroll in military science. For your upcoming semesters, if you're interested in it, you don't even have to go talk to the cadre first. I mean, definitely helps, but you sign up for your classes, enroll in military science. That is number one thing to be doing. It's a 3 credit hour course with a 2-hour lab on Wednesdays. And then the only other requirement is showing up to PT, which is us working out down at the Nutter Center from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Very, very cool. Again, appreciate you all for being in here. Means a lot to take time out of your busy schedules to stop by and tell us a little bit more about ROTC here at Wright State. So hope that everyone that listened to this program enjoyed it. I hope that everyone took something away from it. I know I sure learned a lot about this whole experience. So again, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you so much for stopping by. And until next time, this is Shea Neal on WWSU 106.9 saying so long and Raider up.